My dad was a veteran. I had a couple uncles who were veterans. So it was something that I was proud of. I thought, I'm really enjoying myself. It feels really safe as a gay man, as a gay soldier. But all of a sudden, this was during Don't Ask, Don't Tell, they pulled us into the hall in the barracks and said, we've received an email that one of you is gay, and we need to know who it is so we can nip it in the bud right now. I remember exactly where I was on that cinder block wall, it holding me up, feeling like my throat and stomach had switched places. And after that meeting, I pulled those leaders aside and I said, you're not supposed to ask that. So they even said, well, are you? Are you the gay one? And this was the first time I really outwardly denied it because I wanted to keep my job, and so I said no. In that process where I had finally felt I belonged to something, all of that fell away and I felt like I was completely by myself. I realized I can help. I can use my own voice, my story, to advocate for myself, but also for other people. Growing up, all I knew about what it meant to be gay is that it would isolate someone. They were probably destined to die with AIDS. And the idea of being happy didn't fit with how I imagined it was to be gay. When I came out to my parents, I think my mom cried for months every day. And Dad would plead with me to not be gay. He was convinced that the devil just had a hold of me and I was confused. That part hurt a lot because no matter how hard I tried after that, it was never going to get back to the kind of pride that he had in his son before. Every single year, as the new year would start, my New Year's resolution was, this year I'm not going to be gay. And sometimes that would last a couple months, or sometimes it would last a few hours before I felt like I was, nope, I'm gay again this year. I was determined though. There was nothing in my mind that thought, I'm not eventually going to be able to kick this. I'll have this, a wife and a couple kids. I started college and I was still in the closet, and then 9/11 happened, and within the finish of that school year, I had gone to sign up with a recruiter to go and enlist in the Army. I knew at the time that the Don't Ask, Don't Tell law existed, that I wouldn't be able to tell anyone, but I had done my entire life like that. I made it a point to never tell anyone that I was gay, but I never denied it. And it was an uber masculine hiding place for me. I was really enjoying myself in the Army. I was a paratrooper. I also had this cool opportunity to join this chorus. It was called the 82nd Airborne Division All-American Chorus. I was loving who I was, what I was standing for. They pulled us into the hall in the barracks and said, we've received an email that one of you is gay. This was the first time I really outwardly denied it, but a couple weeks later, my name started showing up in these emails that were coming from this anonymous informant. And so they quickly moved me back to my unit because the chorus was really visible to the public. Then that went on for 7 or 8 months of this informant sending more and more. He had broken into my email and sent emails of mine to my unit. It got to the point where they didn't know how to protect me and their careers. And so they offered me a couple options, one of them being an honorable discharge, where they weren't going to touch my security clearance. And I remember my commander told me it was the last thing he's ever wanted to do. He had fought to keep me. He knew he had trained me for 2 years. He didn't want to lose that, and I was a good soldier. So I saluted him and held in my tears to get out of that building and to my car, where I just completely collapsed in tears. My mind was spinning, having everything that I had put my value in being taken away from me. I've never felt more alone or worthless. And I knew at that point I was gonna have to tell everyone why I had lost my job in the Army. An organization in DC, Service Members Legal Defense Network, asked to put out a press release. So I said, sure. And I thought a couple newspapers might run a story, and it exploded. I felt the stares of disapproval, the concern about my mom and dad's reputation. But I felt like I was at least doing something of worth because we were feeling this momentum shift. American people seeing our faces on this law were realizing this isn't fair to people. This is a waste of time and money. Even my dad's opinion of it shifted. I think when he saw how much pain it inflicted on me, on him, that this isn't right. The day that the vote was about to happen, he knew I was going to watch this vote happen on TV with friends. And on the way out the door, he said, Blue, I hope it goes your way today. And so it meant the world to me. It shocked me. That was probably the most validating thing that I can remember. But I think it took a lot of courage for him to say that out loud to me, and to say that out loud to himself.
On the question before us, the yeas are 65, the nays 31.
So this morning, I am proud to sign a law that will bring an end to Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
So that day, we changed one of the laws of our country, and I had something to do with that. And I had this fire, and I wanted to do something more. I realized I'm okay at this. So I shifted my energy as a new activist homeward. And at the time, there was a Don't Say Gay bill being proposed in the Tennessee legislature. And so we fought that and kept that from becoming law. In 2012, a friend of mine and I decided Knoxville needs a chorus. I wanted a place where I could be around queer people and express to the fullest and full authenticity. This season we started with over 80 men in the chorus. We have both gay and straight and bi men. We have trans men. We have people on the risers that I stand there and sing in a concert with that I know it saved their lives. In my mind, when I look at what it's like for gay kids in Tennessee now compared to me, I think it's light years beyond where it was for me. I always had this home calling me back to East Tennessee, and it meant a lot to be able to fight for LGBTQ people here in Tennessee to make sure they didn't have to grow up hating themselves as much as I did.